Research has shown that early intervention can make a big difference in a child's quality of life, as well as the family's. Despite the need to withdraw into a world of their own, our challenge is to find ways to penetrate the world of the child with autism and help them understand ours, to reach into them and help them reach out to us.
Kids with ADHD or autism want to be independent. Try Goalie, the visual scheduler that guides them through routines so you don't have to. Goalie, reinventing routines.
They give us clues how to do this. This video is meant to teach parents how to use play objects to cultivate their child's development. We call the technique object-focused play.
Do this.
It is something parents can do with their child at home immediately, even while waiting for appointments to see specialists or school officials.
Come on, dance, son. Let's see. What is he doing?
This.
There is every reason for you and your child to start building bridges now.
Good job.
We have found that the most promising route to a child with autism embraces the world of objects and play, and that every child with whom we intervene demonstrates to one degree or another impoverished play. Toys and household objects become a pattern of ritualized, self-engaging behavior rather than tools of learning and interaction. When we talk to parents, we're likely to hear concerns such as, my child plays with 2 or 3 toys rather than the 20 toys that their brother or sister played with. Or my child simply doesn't know how to use toys or lacks imagination when using them.
For families living with ADHD or autism, preventing meltdowns is everything. Goalie reduces stress by enabling kids to complete routines independently. Goalie, reinventing routines.
Using object-focused play, the strategy is not to bombard a child with potentially confusing social interactions, but rather to take a close look at what the child is already doing, such as this child's interest in water, and then to build upon it step by step in a safe way that communicates clear goals and expectations.
These pre-existing interests become the entry point towards cultivating a shared understanding of objects that can then lead towards the rewards of shared experiences with others.
Pour it on your tummy. Pour it on eyes. Here, trade. Here. Can you pour? Pour it on tummy. Good.
Play is work for children. That is really what they do, and that's how they learn. So you can't overemphasize play, because that's the kingpin. That's it. You know, that's how they relate to the world and how they learn.
Mommy's hammering. Aaron, do it. Good. All right.
Once you start trying to understand how a child learns, it makes so much sense, and it's so important that he does play, and play with dolls and play with figurines and Mr. Potato Head and Play-Doh, because it's the only way he's going to learn. It's the only way he's going to expand what he knows how to do and be able to occupy himself.
Roll it. Good. Very good. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Yeah, that's kind of fun. I like to roll them.
It's expanded his world so much. His world was so narrow when it was really about books and about his mom and dad, but not about any other objects and not about his siblings. Where now that he can play with objects more appropriately, he can look around the room. He doesn't just look and think if something's a book or not a book. He will walk into a room and look, and he'll say, you know, cow, sheep, or barn, and train, and beads, and coloring book, and then there's a book. And before, none of those would have even had him pause in his vision. He would just have gone, book.
Oh, peace.
No peace this time. Okay, I'm going to check the
It's filling his day, and it's filling his life so much more, and he's relating to his peers, particularly his siblings, better because they can play with him, and they have the same language now for objects.
If we look closely at typical children, we soon discover that their interactions with objects are the engines that drive their communication and their shared experiences with others. We don't want to ignore the importance of fostering communication and language development, but we need to respect the importance that objects play in children's interactions.
Kids with ADHD or autism want to be independent. Try Goalie, the visual scheduler that guides them through routines so you don't have to. Goalie, reinventing routines.
Teaching children to use objects does not require a large amount of language use.
Calming.
And this, in fact, can be overwhelming to children with autism. We've found object-focused play to be an essential, but many times overlooked part of intervention.
Oh, pretty.
It is through this avenue of interest in objects and play that we can reach and teach the child with autism. In object-focused play, we begin with simplicity. Simple objects, simple play areas, and simple activities.
2,
In narrowing the field of attention, we are eliminating troublesome distractions that interfere with learning.
1, 2, 3.
Once there is mastery of the simple, the child moves to more complex activities with new objects. The beauty is that this progression builds upon the child's demonstrated interest in a preferred object, thus providing a high comfort factor. It becomes a motivational tool as the child moves to new objects and activities. The challenge of the adult is in finding the entry point and working with it. The entry point is a child's preferred interaction with an object, which is limited in variety and use. These favored behaviors take many forms, such as spinning wheels on a toy vehicle, rocking or standing in front of a television, repeatedly assembling a puzzle. An adult's job is then to mold the immature or inappropriate use of the object, the entry point, into a slightly different activity, one that more resembles a functional or conventional use of the object. We start with the child's developmental level and expand it, patiently and persistently, step by step.
Using this entry point allows us to create sufficient motivation so that we can then begin to build more variation in a child's play. This will lead to richer play, but it can also, depending on a child's capacity, lead to many more joyous experiences for you and your child, and ultimately self-perpetuated development.